For Willie Nelson, life has always felt like a long road with no clear map, full of detours, heartbreak, unexpected friendships, and music that carried him through the darkest stretches. Looking back, it almost seems as though every struggle, every mistake, every song, was guiding him toward the same destination, a place where survival and music became inseparable. Willie's story is not one of a smooth rise to fame, but of endurance, of finding light in the chaos, and of leaning on the people who stood beside him when the weight of the world felt too heavy. Friendships, especially with men like Kris Kristofferson, shaped not only his career, but also his will to keep going when the darkness threatened to swallow him whole. Born into hardship in a broken world, Willie Nelson was born on April 29, 1933 in Abbott, Texas, a town so small it barely registered on the map during the harsh years of the Great Depression. Hunger was common, hope was scarce, and before Willie could even understand the world, his life was marked by absence. His mother left when he was still a baby, and his father followed not long after, leaving Willie and his sister Bobby in the care of their grandparents, Nancy and Alfred Nelson. They offered love, discipline, and the grounding presence of faith, but they could not shield the children from the harshness of the world outside their door. Willie grew up knowing early that life could take people away without warning, and that survival required toughness even in childhood. Music as shelter and salvation. The Nelson household had almost nothing. Winters were so cold that newspapers were pasted to the walls for insulation, and comfort was a luxury they could not afford. Yet inside that struggle, Willie found something that would save him: a cheap guitar his grandfather gave him when he was just 6 years old. From the moment he held it, music became more than a hobby. It became protection, a way to process loneliness, fear, and loss. By 7, he was already writing songs, performing wherever he could, and earning small amounts of money that helped keep food on the table. Even then, music was quietly shaping a future Willie could not yet imagine, offering him refuge when life felt too heavy for a child to carry: faith, fear, and the seeds of rebellion. Willie was raised in a deeply religious home, singing gospel hymns in the Methodist church choir every Sunday. Those harmonies gave him comfort, but they also planted tension inside him. Outside of church, he was drawn to sounds his grandmother would never approve of: Bob Wills' honky-tonk, music that felt freer and more alive. Willie wrestled with guilt and fear, caught between devotion and rebellion, and that quiet tension planted the earliest seeds of the outlaw spirit that would later define him. Even as a boy, he carried a refusal to be boxed in by other people's rules. Loss that changed everything. When Willie was still young, his grandfather Alfred died from pneumonia, and the loss cut deeper than anything he had known. Alfred had been more than a guardian. He was the man who taught Willie music, resilience, and the dignity of hard work. Without him, Willie was forced to grow up faster. Responsibilities became heavier. He milked cows before school, worked long hours, and learned early that nothing in life was guaranteed. That grief did not harden him into bitterness, but it did shape him into fierce independence. He understood that if he wanted to survive, he would have to rely on himself, and music would remain his closest companion. Searching for direction after setbacks. After high school, Willie briefly joined the U.S. Air Force, hoping to find stability and purpose, but a serious back injury ended that chapter quickly. Once again, he found himself drifting, returning to music without a safety net. He worked radio jobs, recorded songs independently, sold records directly to listeners, and scraped together money however he could. Willie learned early that talent alone did not guarantee success. Persistence did. The road was unforgiving, but he kept moving forward, one song at a time. In Nashville, dreams and crushing disillusionment. By the late 1950s and early 1960s, Willie arrived in Nashville with big hopes and empty pockets. He slept in his car, wrote songs that would become classics, and watched other artists turn his words into massive hits while he remained broke. Nashville loved his songwriting, but didn't know what to do with him as a performer. The system was polished, rigid, and often exploitative. Willie learned painful lessons about ownership and control, growing resentful of an industry that profited from his gift while keeping him on the outside, standing at the edge and choosing to live. There were moments when rejection and poverty nearly crushed him, when he questioned whether life itself was worth continuing. But each time, something intervened: music, friendship, a small opportunity arriving just in time. Willie's survival often depended on the smallest lifelines and the people who believed in him when he could no longer believe in himself. Those years taught him that endurance is not heroic. Sometimes it is simply choosing to stay. Finding strength in the honky-tonk world back in Texas, Willie played rough bars where music was loud, tempers were short, and survival required toughness. Those nights were chaotic, sometimes dangerous, but they sharpened him. He learned how to command a room, protect himself, and stand tall in environments that mirrored the storm inside him. The honky-tonk world prepared him for an industry just as unforgiving, teaching him that authenticity mattered more than polish, losing control to find his voice. Even when Willie began to find chart success, he felt suffocated by expectations. Record labels tried to mold him into something he wasn't, smoothing out the edges that made him real. Willie resisted, choosing to walk away from security in favor of authenticity. That decision left him broke again, but it also opened the door to the most important artistic rebirth of his life. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to find your true voice. Austin, freedom, and the birth of the outlaw. In the early 1970s, Willie returned to Texas and found something unexpected in Austin: a collision of cultures where long-haired hippies and working-class cowboys shared the same dance floors. For the first time, Willie didn't feel like an outsider. Out of that freedom came Shotgun Willie and Red-Headed Stranger, albums that were raw, stripped down, and unapologetically honest. Willie proved that music didn't need polish to be powerful. It needed truth. Success without permission. When Red-Headed Stranger exploded against all expectations, Willie changed not only his career, but the entire genre of country music. He proved that trusting instincts mattered more than following trends. That victory gave birth to the outlaw movement, opening doors for artists who refused to fit neatly into Nashville's rules. Willie didn't ask permission to be himself, and in doing so, he reshaped country music forever. Brotherhood on the highway through collaborations with Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and Kris Kristofferson, Willie found something deeper than fame. He found brotherhood. These were men who understood loss, rebellion, and the cost of staying true to yourself. Together, they became the Highwaymen, not a manufactured group, but a bond built on shared survival. In each other, they found understanding that the world could not offer: fame, trouble, and public scrutiny. With success came scrutiny, legal trouble, health scares, and financial disaster. Willie faced a devastating tax crisis that stripped him of nearly everything, forcing humiliation into the public eye. Yet even then, he refused to disappear. He rebuilt creatively, proving that resilience is not about avoiding collapse, but about rising after it. Personal loss and the search for stability. Behind the public battles, Willie endured private heartbreak, including the loss of his son and the collapse of earlier marriages. The pain nearly broke him, forcing him to confront self-destructive habits. Over time, he moved toward sobriety and deeper gratitude for those still standing beside him. Annie D'Angelo and the gift of grounding. When Willie married Annie D'Angelo, his life steadied in ways it never had before. She became his anchor, setting boundaries, demanding accountability, and offering unconditional support. Together, they raised a family grounded in honesty, music, and love. Annie gave Willie something rare: stability without suffocation. A life measured in survival. Not glory, Willie Nelson's story is not about perfection or fame. It is about survival. It is about falling down and getting back up, about music as refuge, friendship as salvation, and honesty as the only path forward. Even now, his journey feels unfinished, still breathing, still singing, still reminding the world that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply keep going,